On Opening Soon by Design, making electronics sexy to women.
It's not just about the technology anymore. A woman has to be part of it.
Brack Electronics is designing a store that looks like a high-tech home, but will their concept work?
If it doesn't work, then there's a good chance that I need to go looking for a job.
And will it be open on time?
Is this for today?
Oh, 6 o'clock.
Christian Royce is a man of the future. From music to movies, lighting to blinds, weather to traffic reports, he has it all at his fingertips. His house is a high-tech temple, all of it accessible by the internet from anywhere.
If I were in Shanghai, I'd be able to log on to the system, see what's going on, make sure everything's good.
It's called home automation, and it cost him almost $100,000 to install.
It started when I was in high school. I just moved here from Jamaica. I applied for a job at Sears. They put me in the audio-video department, and the rest is history.
And the business has been very good to him. He bought Brack Electronics 2 years ago, but wants to take it in a new direction. Until now, it's been selling audio-visual equipment the old-fashioned way. TVs, speakers, and amplifiers loaded into customers' vehicles and taken home. But now he's closing this store to make way for the future.
When you walk into our new store, you will see very, very little by way of electronics. And yet, there will be picture and sound all around.
The new store in Midtown Toronto will be a revolutionary concept in electronics retail. It will be a home in disguise. In fact, it will look much like Christian's. The strategy is to appeal to women as well as men.
The reaction that I'm looking for is that they are impressed by how good electronics can look.
That look is clean, no wires or cables. Just a seamless integration of technology into a living space. Christian is spending $300,000 in personal savings and bank loans to convert this into a luxurious example of home automation. Opening day is 8 weeks away. The showroom is strategically located in the Design and Decor District, a mecca for new homeowners and renovators. It's an area where women and men often shop together, just the clientele Brack is looking for.
Family room, I think, is going to be very straightforward. Paul had a question about the kitchen cabinets over here. I'm sourcing a fireplace.
Christian wants the store to look as perfect as his home.
I would call myself a perfectionist. I think if you don't do it perfectly, there's nothing special about it, and maybe you shouldn't have done it in the first place.
I was just doing a quick count on the number of shades.
His right-hand man is Fraser Richardson, Director of Operations for Brack.
The challenges of bringing Christian's vision to reality in the new store is that there is no recipe. Nobody has done it before that we know of, so we have no model.
He's worked at Brack for 2 years, but has known Christian for 2 decades. He bought his first amplifier from Christian when he was in high school, and they've been friends ever since.
My relationship with Christian is twofold. First, of course, I'm an employee, and second, I'm a friend.
I met Fraser Richardson in 1988. He was a twig of a fellow.
My parents got divorced, and he was the only single person on this planet I could depend on. I needed to do whatever I could for the rest of my life to repay it.
His loyalty is absolutely remarkable.
They may be close, but Fraser's under no illusions about his job security.
If it doesn't work, then there's a good chance that I need to go looking for a job.
His biggest nightmare in building the store is wiring.
Wire number 32, which is a 4-conductor shielded Belden.
Not only will each room feature built-in electronics, but all wires and cables must be hidden behind walls and fed into a central panel.
What we do is so specialized that you can't just say, just do that.
How many wires are going down? What size of conduit would you like down it?
Going into it, there's going to be 20 of these.
20 of those. Wow!
Each room will have to be soundproof too, using special drywall that has a layer of aluminum built into each sheet. It's called silent rock.
Like he said, it's supposed to be pristine. I said, well, it ain't.
At $200 a sheet, it should be.
But $20,000 worth of this drywall has been damaged during shipping. The corners are bent, which could mean leaking sound.
I have to wonder what it's going to do to the acoustic properties.
That was my concern.
Well, he hasn't been paid, so it's a good thing.
Leaking sound is a huge concern when you're selling sophisticated audio-visual equipment worth several $1,000s. Each seam will eventually be sealed with soundproofing putty, so they have to make sure they get all that wiring right the first time.
Because once it's all up, it's a little bit of a pain if we got to start breaking walls and relocating stuff.
A few days later, at an international design show in Toronto, Fraser has a chance to test market the Brack concept to their desired clientele, women.
The first thing I'll show you is a flush-mounted in-ceiling speaker, which in this case is builder's white, so it can be painted any color you wish to match the ceiling.
Does that have to be pre-construction, or if a home's already built, can you add that in later?
We installed this retrofit.
I don't like to see speakers. I don't want to see them dominate my room.
But it really gets away from having wires and speaker stands, you know, which typically people don't like to see.
So the fact that they can be disguised and color matched, those are all very important things.
That's why the Brack showroom has to be so meticulous.
The last thing we want is for Mrs. Smith to come into the store and see all of these really nice things and see these ugly wires on the floor. Right. She's going to say, not a chance.
It's not just about the technology anymore. It's about the presence in the room. Where it's going to fit, is it going to fit, how is it going to fit, what's it going to look like? A woman has to be part of it. Absolutely. You can't, a man, I don't think, can just go off and do this on their own anymore. They'll love to hear that, won't they?
We had this beautiful space and a piece of crap in the middle.
Can't send invites out, can't start planning very much because of the construction delays.
Brack Electronics is boldly going where no retail store has gone before.
When you walk into our new store, there will be picture and sound all around.
Owner Christian Royce is building a store in Toronto that will look more like a home. His home. A fully automated space where lighting, climate, entertainment, even security is controlled by a touch panel. And his loyal lieutenant is feeling the pressure.
Nobody has done it before that we know of, so we have no model.
Opening day is 6 weeks away. Their designers, Ryan and Amy from Chroma Design, are young and hip with a lot to prove.
This is our biggest project, and it's sort of like a make it or break it.
You have these windows, which are that height.
Yep.
And then this door, which is meant to be the main focal point, is lower than everything else.
They want to make the entrance more dramatic. The interior will be sleek with clean lines to match the high-tech automation. But this is anything but a typical assignment for this design firm.
Until we actually saw some of the spaces that Brack had created, that's when we really understood what they were trying to do.
We have to do something spectacular and something that hasn't been done before, and it's very technical, and it's challenging.
Challenging because they have to design a store that's a home in disguise, one with all kinds of hidden technology.
Our goal is to bring that into a showroom that anyone can walk in and see exactly what it is that these guys can create and do for you. It's all concealed and it's all magic, and it just sort of disappears.
Not surprisingly, Fraser has a list of technical demands.
Very important is, of course, audio and lighting.
Yeah.
It's going to be loose, and I didn't want any vibration. Whatever we do, we have to seal properly because we're using that special drywall.
And of course, all the wiring must be hidden.
If we are running a bunch of cables from the projector back to here, it's not neat, it's not clean.
Martina Busco is trying to be patient. She's in charge of marketing at Brack. All the technical details are holding up construction, and she has a party to plan.
I can't send invites out, can't start planning very much because of the construction delays. I want to tie in the concept of the opening to what the store will look like. I don't want to have a black and white store and throw in green or pink decorations. So I'm waiting.
A week later, the designers are ready to present their ideas to the boss, Brack owner Christian Royce.
I think what we need to do in this family living room is actually do something that differentiates from that sort of more public zone. Maybe this becomes a darker color and it's very, very rich and sumptuous. And then the same thing here in the kitchen, because we're going to have this long sort of center island which doubles up for you as a meeting space.
The store will have distinct rooms, and they must look like they belong in the same house.
The spaces that we create in here really need to scream not just high-end flashy, but high-end smart, high-end sophisticated.
Christian likes what he hears.
Excellent.
But he reminds Ryan that they face a unique problem.
In a regular stereo store or electronics store, you're constantly refreshing the electronics.
Yeah.
So if somebody came back, you'd have something new to show them. And we're actually trying to hide the electronics here.
With the inventory built in, how will they keep the store looking fresh?
We'll have to think of a creative way to do that.
Christian already has.
What I'm trying to do is to form an alliance with a furniture store that is catering to the same clients that we are. It'll give this person a showroom for their furniture in an area where they don't actually have a storefront. If we had somebody come back 6 months after the fact, it would look like a new space again.
Ryan's not so sure about this idea.
If we've created this really clean-lined interior and suddenly we're bringing in a grandmother's sofa, not that Christian would ever do that, but there's the potential of things not quite matching or not quite working. We have this beautiful space and a piece of crap in the middle. It's just not going to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay.
Ryan knows of a store with furniture that's just the right look for the Brack space. Modern, sleek, and neutral tones.
Hello. Fraser, this is Roman. He owns the store. This is our good friend Fraser.
Pleasure to meet you.
So we are looking for 3 different things today.
All right, well, let's approach them individually. Let's start with the sofa and just follow me, guys.
Sounds great.
He offers his best sales pitch.
Here we have one sectional. It's contemporary.
Little does he know that Brack isn't exactly looking to buy.
The only thing I'm a little worried about is the size might be slightly big for that room.
Having seen those finishes and colors, there's one right down this way that I can show you that might work very well.
It has that little bit of metal detailing here, which we like. It's a nice table. I don't think it's quite what we're looking for.
This is actually an extendable table.
Wow. Roman, this table is perfect.
Now that they found what they're looking for, time to break the news that they'd like all this for free.
Fraser, maybe you want to talk to Roman about how you foresee getting this furniture into the space.
Okay, well, Roman, the idea that we have for the space is to try and work with people that are in a similar type of business, complementary businesses in terms
Roman
of,
seems to warm to the idea.
We were thinking about frosted glass with the company logo in it saying product supplied by.
Well, it sounds like a great idea. We have a client base that they might not be exposed to, and them, same thing. They have people that might have not been exposed to us.
Ryan's still not crazy about this arrangement, but at least he likes the furniture.
This is the one place in the city that we would be happy with this stuff being repeated and rotated. So that I feel comfortable about.
It's a done deal. Opening day is 4 weeks away.
Excellent.
Not having a floor is a big deal.
I wish the store was done and I could plan my party around that.
Brack Electronics is taking a brand new approach to retail. Their store will look more like a fully automated home, but it's a technical nightmare.
If we are running a bunch of cables from the projector back to here, it's not neat.
The furnishings are on loan.
There's the potential of things not quite matching or not quite working.
And they're way behind schedule. Opening day is just 5 days away. The good news is most of the walls have been painted, but the door installers have arrived and the frame doesn't fit.
Okay, let's try it from the bottom going up instead.
But that's the least of Fraser Richardson's worries. He's carrying the burden of making sure this store opens on time, and there's been a crisis over the weekend.
We had purposely scheduled the floor guy to come and work through the weekend, and I come here on Sunday and notice that the floor doesn't look any different. So I panic, finally get a call back, and there was stuff on the floor and the electrical outlets were all being used, so he was unable to work, which is a bit of a line because we've got electrical everywhere.
And an unfinished floor has a way of holding up everything else.
I've got a kitchen that's just arrived, and I got to put the island down on the floor, which means that if I put the island down, I can't do the floor underneath it.
Martina has already sent out 200 invitations for the party. The guests will be here, finished floor or not.
I wish the store was done and I could plan my party around that.
The door frame is finally installed. It's a small victory, but Fraser enjoys the moment.
I'm really pleased with the way the door looks.
A lot of people like the floor-to-ceiling doors. It gives you a much grander opening.
Designers Amy and Ryan arrive and have made some selections of artwork for the store. They inspect the exterior and are a little shocked that things still look a little rough.
We thought it would be a little further along than it is.
Could turn out very beautifully. It's just not in line with what we anticipated.
It's unbelievable that all the things that need to get done before Friday will actually get done.
Inside, the news is worse.
Fraser, what's going on with the floor?
As you can see, it's not done.
Not done.
I'm hoping that Steve is going to show up. I asked him to come middle afternoon so we can actually talk about it. He's a minimum of 48 hours.
Ming's crew can't take 48 hours off. They need this time.
The crew is installing the millwork today. The painters are here too, putting a textured finish on the walls of the reception area, and they all need access to the floor.
I'm at that stage now where I don't know if I'm going to have a floor done.
Not having a floor is a big deal. It sort of impacts everything. And when we're working on a deadline here, we don't really have room for mistakes like that.
Finally, the floor installer arrives.
So, Steve, floor. I can't bring furniture in until the floor is done.
Fraser wonders whether they could do the floor one room at a time.
What are my problems going to be?
Well, the only one that I can see is going to be the fact that you're going to have some seams.
But seams they'll have to live with if they want to open on time.
I can get the stuff yanked out so you got floor available to you, and I can say nobody's allowed to go in there. When can you start?
Oh, I can start right away.
Like now?
Well, you got to give me a few minutes.
Okay.
But yeah.
2 days later, the electronics are finally starting to arrive. The centerpiece is a plasma TV for the home theater. Mounting it is complicated, but part of the store's concept is that customers won't just be getting electronics from Brack, they'll be getting installation too. It takes 2 technicians more than an hour to mount this one. It's not something you'd want to try at home, and that's exactly what Brack is counting on. Opening day is 2 days away.
This is the most stressful day of my life, I think.
I wish I knew about this before we got our TV. I would have liked to hide it behind a painting. I didn't know you could really do that.
Brack Electronics is trying to build a store disguised as a home. The idea is to lure customers into technology heaven, but their showroom is way behind schedule. The floor installation was late, holding up everything else.
I come here on Sunday and notice that floor doesn't look any different, so I panic.
But the party is on. Opening night is 8 hours away. Fraser Richardson has been here around the clock all week.
Yeah, that's fine. You can get a little bit of water, I think it's totally fine. Final day, putting up lights, got the disaster cleaning crew doing a mad rush to clean every single surface. The kitchen's being installed, albeit a couple of days late. I have confirmation that the caterer's coming on time. We've got all the necessary drinks ready, because I know that I'm gonna need some later.
The furniture is moved into place, and it's finally starting to feel like a home. The electronics are up and running, but...
This touch panel needs something to sit on.
The highlight of the living room is a work of art that rolls up to reveal a plasma TV underneath. There's a special room called the 2-channel room, which highlights their best sound system. It's yours for just $80,000. Martina's doing a little bit of everything.
This is the most stressful day of my life, I think.
Is this for today?
Oh, 6 o'clock! I've been doing everything from cleaning to moving furniture to arranging art to picking flowers.
The florist is making the arrangements.
Sorry, what are we doing here?
But he's still not sure where to put them.
Then we have our bar, which looks like a piece of cardboard right now, but our bar. Right now, I am filthy dirty, and I can't go home to shower or change because there's no time, and the party's in 2 hours.
Fraser did find time to change. He makes a final inspection before the guests arrive.
Wow, it's looking good.
The store has come to life. In just 8 weeks, it's been transformed from a cold concrete space into a warm, inviting home. This is not your average retail store, but neither is the product for sale. The plasma TVs, hidden speakers, automated lighting, and climate control are all here, though not necessarily visible. The party is starting, and the guest of honor arrives.
So, what do you think?
The guests are treated to the Brack concept.
Whatever you want to listen to in this area or in any area of the home.
This is what every man dreams of, other than his wife. Total automation of your home and full utilization of all disposable income.
Speakers in the drywall.
Turn the lights low when the special lady comes over. Perfect, buddy, perfect.
When you hit that button, it turns the plasma screen on.
Doesn't get better than this. This is the Bentley of technology.
But what do women think? They are the new target customers, after all.
I wish I knew about this before we got our TV. I would have liked to hide it behind a painting, and I would have liked to hide stuff behind cabinets. I didn't know you could really do that.
It's too soon to say whether the concept will work, but the showroom is at least ready for business.
Well, guys, I'd just like to say that we hit the deadline. I'm as pleased as punch, and that this thing should start to pay the rent soon. I'm really looking forward to. And thank you all very much for your huge effort.
Well, thank you, everybody. Cheers.
Cheers.
That drawer, as we were...
I like snapping asparagus.
Yeah, don't pretend it is not. It's not gonna help anything. How does that chicken feel?
Dead.
Good luck, lady.
Cheers.